Rufus Norris has been artistic director of the National Theatre for nearly a decade, and he's given us an exclusive peek behind the scenes at its brand new props warehouse. This, his final season, will showcase new or lesser known playwrights alongside old hits.
Dear England.
Like Dear England, a State of the Nation drama based around England manager Gareth Southgate.
OK, you all know who's taking them, that's not going to change.
It's not often that you can get something deliberately that speaks to the moment in time. However, what happens often is that there's a feeling, you know, Dear England was something, it's about the England football team on the one hand, but it's also about a theory of leadership on the other. Before the response to, you know, taking the knee, for example. So in the end, we produced a play which in its own way felt like it was having a conversation about those moments. That was never the intention when we started it. So it's partly about art meeting life, and partly when we can about responding.
And you mentioned Dear England there, so you're putting that back on as part of your final season, and
Yep.
you have, I understand, changed the ending.
Well, James Graham, who's written it, and Rupert Gould both spent a little bit of time in Germany during the tournament, and in fact we watched the final together. I think the play will change. I'm not exactly sure how at the moment. We're talking about it. In a way, has the whole of Gareth Southgate's tenure as the England manager to talk about. It might frame it all in that way, but I'm not quite sure. It's with James at the moment. Whatever I predict, he'll come up with something different.
Tell me a little bit about the Warhorse. Over his decade in the role, Norris has campaigned against arts being taken out of the curriculum. The theatre's plays are now freely available for all state schools to stream.
One of the reasons that there has been this, I suppose, a closing of the bottleneck of opportunity of getting into the arts or the creative industries is because arts subjects have been taken out of the school curriculum. But it's much more profound than that. This is about being able to stand up and say your name out loud. It's about being able to communicate. It's about being able to listen actively. These are all things that employers across the spectrum are saying they want. AI is affecting creative industries less than any other industry. That's because you know, the creative industries depend on people having their individuality and their ability to think their way out of problems. But these skills are useful whatever you go into.
How many women MPs are there? 4, 5?
There's 5 of us.
I mean, I feel like an imposter, and I'm a man.
We're both imposters. That's why this place needs us.
In 2019, the National Theatre ended a lucrative corporate membership deal with oil giant Shell. The pressure on cultural organisations to shed unpalatable partnerships is at an all-time high.
We're a theatre, so we're involved in telling stories. In any story, people take action. That's what they do. Climate change is the biggest challenge, I think, globally that we've got, and it's important that every industry takes whatever action they can. Part of our job is to make sure that we're identifying the right partnerships to work with, to make sure that we're working with like-minded people.
As part of its pledge to become a net zero organisation by 2030, the theatre's just opened this warehouse, bringing all of its costumes, props and staging together to be recycled or reused by other theatres.
This is a Sweeney Todd chair, so if you'd like to
goodness.
sit in there, I'm not going to ask you. Well,
no.
you could try if you want.
I suppose
You
if I
can
lose
see
my
what
head or
happens.
not.
So I cut your throat and down you go. This was used in a manor house for a show that we did just after COVID. We've got probably 20 or 30 suits of armour. This is just one of the more complete ones.
Having steeled it through a pandemic, funding cuts and 10 culture secretaries during his time as artistic director, what are his reflections on passing the torch?
It's all about the people. I work with fantastic people, and it's been a privilege to work with the incredible artists as well. And I've met some, you know, it's kind of the greatest anthropological tourist visa that there is doing my job. So I will miss all of that, but churn is good. You know, turnover is good in the creative industries. I think it's a really valuable aspect of our art scene, and it's time for some fresh thinking, some fresh ideas to be coming in.
Come on,